into this discussion about animals, meaning the more than human animals, because we're in a period where we're reflecting on this human exceptionalism. Are we different from other animals? So this week, where we're watching the conversation about the passion of animals and how they've evolved, I just want to note people who've been working on this for some time. After the Harvard conferences in 1999, we did a conference with Paul Waldau, an animal studies person, and Kimberly Patton, a Christian theologian at the Divinity School at Harvard. This conference was astounding because it brought together people from the Humane Society, from animal behavior departments at Harvard, and so on. And this conference became a volume 7 years later, adding in some voices like Jane Goodall and other noted figures in animal behavior and studies. So this book is called A Communion of Subjects. Was published by Columbia University Press and edited by Paul Waldau and Kimberly Patton. It's an amazing collection of essays. Of course, the title comes from Thomas Berry's very famous statement where he said, "The universe is not a collection of objects, but a communion of subjects." That there's this subjectivity, there's interiority in all of the living world. And we begin to understand this more and more in the migrating patterns of fish, of turtles, of caribou. How do they understand these great lengths of salmon coming out of these rivers in the Pacific Northwest, for example, and coming back to the place where they were born and they spawn again? These are extraordinary. Bird migrations over thousands of miles. So there's an intelligence, if you will, imprinted within the natural world, multiple intelligences that we're beginning to discover and that we're living amidst, we're dwelling amidst a community of subjects. So that conference helped bring together a very multidisciplinary effort that the American Academy of Religion, for example, there's a religion and animal section and many presentations on it. And from this beginning, Paul Waldau worked for many, many years. He was a lawyer. He's done work on the rights of animals, on the Great Ape Project, and so on. He also got his PhD at the University of California, Santa Barbara in religious studies. And he's one of the figures who's founded what would be called animal studies now. This is an introduction to animal studies. He founded a program at Canisius College up in Buffalo, which is an online program as well as classes there. And his work is absolutely extraordinary in so many regards. So I want to just recommend that book. He'll be saying something more on this podcast. And I have a third that I want to mention because we're going to make a link to Barbara King, who is an anthropologist, and she's done this quite remarkable work, Evolving God, a provocative view on the origins of religion. And her talk that was recently done at the Smithsonian Museum of Natural History in Washington speaks on this topic that her book does as well. And she's trying to say, where does the desire of morality or religion actually come from? And as a biological anthropologist, she's trying to say, let's think about the religious imagination and the link to the lives and mind of our primate cousins. So Evolving God draws on her own fieldwork among primates in Africa and paleoanthropology of our extinct ancestors to offer a new way of thinking about the origins of religion, one that situates it in a deep need for emotional connection with others, a need we share with apes and monkeys. That's just a tongue-tip taste of an amazing book and a really quite wonderful lecture that you can watch. So I hope you'll enjoy this. I hope some of these resources will be helpful, and may you enjoy the interview as well.